Today, I'm going to be giving my take on She Association 3 Faust to the best that I can. So, this Faust in particular is a poise unit and also a bleed unit with a resistance towards piercing, no resistance towards slashing, but a vulnerability towards bludgeoning damage. So this Faust at max level has a max HP of 229, a speed threshold of 3 to 7, a defense level of 59, with her stagger thresholds being at 160 health, 114 health, and 45 health, with her having 3 total thresholds. So for this identity skill 1, it has a base power of 4, and it gains 4 power for each head, with the skill having a max amount of 2 coins. So essentially a minimum power of 4 and a maximum power of 12. This skill will also gain coin power with a mixture of 4 poise or 4 bleed or split across between Faust having poise and bleed on a target. This skill will also give Faust 2 poise but no poise count and will inflict up to 3 bleed on a singular target. So for this Faust's skill 2, it has a base power of 4. It gains 4 power per head, meaning that it gets a max power of 16. It will gain 1 extra clash power for every 4 combination of poise on herself and bleed on a target with a maximum input of 4. It will deal an extra 11% damage for every 4 poise on herself, dealing a maximum extra amount of 44%. It will deal an extra 11% damage for every arrow that she has spent, with also a max of 44%, meaning all of her arrows will have to be spent. Upon using the skill, she will gain 1 to her poise count. And if she inflicts all 3 of her coin hits that she gets, she will inflict 2 bleed counts, she will gain 2 poise, and will also inflict 2 normal bleed onto a single target. So for this identity skill 3, it has a base power of 4 like the other 2, but gains 3 power for every coin that it rolls head, with it having 4 coins, so a maximum of 16 power as well. It gains an extra coin power, like the others, for every 4 poise on self plus bleed on target, with a maximum of 2. It deals more damage for every 4 poise she has on herself. It deals more damage for every arrow she spends. This one gives her 2 poise count upon use. And on hit, she will gain, on her first hit, she will gain 2 poise, with gaining an extra poise count on a crit. For her second hit, she'll inflict 2 bleed count, but also inflict a 3rd bleed count if she gets a crit. On her 3rd hit, she will inflict 4 bleed, and on her 4th attack, if she hits a crit, she will inflict 2 defense level down next turn. She can only do this once per turn. So this unit has 2 defense skills, with her first one having a base power of 14 and gaining 4 power when she rolls ahead, getting a max power of 18. This skill, what it does is, if she has any arrows left, she will gain a stack of target aim and will activate ready to loose, allowing her to next round either keep holding the arrow to gain stack charges to make herself stronger, or she can shoot the arrow, causing different status effects to the enemy, or she can just use something else which will deactivate it. However, if she is out of arrows, she will instead activate her second defense skill, which is just a very simple evade with a base power of 14, with plus 10 added on if she gets ahead with a max power of 14. And on that evade skill, she'll gain 1 poise count for every time she evade, up to 3 times per turn. So like most units, this identity has 3 passives. Her first passive is Snipe-Archery, which essentially it is the passive of her being able to shoot her arrow with her bow activated by her defense stat. But it's also where she will get increased damage power, because what happens is when she goes to shoot the arrow, it will convert a skill on the leftmost base into the arrow skill that lets her shoot the attack. And depending on which skill got converted, it will deal an extra base power, coin power, or damage, depending on which one it is. And it's also where it shows that if she equips an eco skill, it'll remove her ready to lose. Shino Yumi is her second passive, and it is where she will gain 1 poise on any skills that will give her poise potency if she's at her max arrow count 3 times per encounter, but the encounter cap resets when her arrows drop to 3. And if she is at 2 targets aim and uses the skill Bow's Glimmer, her skill 3-1, she will gain 2 slash damage up next turn, making her base skills deal even more damage. Her final passive is aiming for the bullseye, and what it does is it will apply 1 pierce damage up to next turn to an ally who inflict the most bleed potency to enemies with the skills and passives, and it does include egos. If multiple identities share this high damage inflicted with bleed for the turn, it will choose the earliest in the deployment order. However, it does not activate if no one inflicts bleed potency. So it's not bleed count, it's bleed potency, which is a huge difference. And personally, from what I can see, this seems like a pretty alright unit. Obviously, there's some stuff that makes her not, like, maybe too good of a pick for high-end teams. But I kind of actually like the identity. It's the one I used against Gas Harpoon. So yeah, that's about all I have to say to this identity. Goodbye.